Hello gamers, today I am talking about a game series that was a part of almost everyone's childhood, that being Call of Duty, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, shooter series in all of history. In this video I'll be looking at the campaign for the newest Call of Duty, that being the remaster remake of Modern Warfare 3. Now you may be wondering, why am I talking about Call of Duty? It's not the normal type of game I would cover. Well, one reason is that I have heard a lot of bad things and I thought I should check it out for myself, because surely it cannot be that bad. And also, surely that is not foreshadowing. Secondly, for whatever reason, I have always found COD stories fun to play. Not like good narrative stories for the most part, but just some good old mindless fun with some legendary moments throughout. Stuff like the numbers, Mason, press F to pay respects. Something that is so large in its reach that it has well outlived the game it came from. And lastly, the moment known for making every gamer shed at least 2 tears. That being when Shepard portrayed Task Force 141, killing the best character in Call of Duty history, Ghost. I can still remember the pain of that happening. And then, years later, they announced Call of Duty Ghosts, a game I thought would see a return of the character Ghost. And then it had nothing to do with him, which was depressing, but it also gave us Riley the doggo, who I loved, so it made up for it. So let's get on to the new COD game now. Unfortunately, we can't talk about the story yet, as I need to touch on the install process, which boy oh boy is a whole event. Firstly, there is no game on the Steam library, at least, called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. To download the game, well, you need to download something called Call of Duty HQ, which I believe is for the game, and it combines MW2 and MW3 into one launcher, which is, I think, incredibly stupid. One of my favorite things about the older Call of Duties, especially I'm thinking early Black Ops, is on Steam, the campaign, the zombies, and the multiplayer were all separate installs. So let's say you only want to play zombies, you don't have to install the whole thing. Now, on the topic of the whole thing, I spent over double the time waiting for the game to install than I did actually playing the story. And not only that, I played the first half of the story, I went to bed for the night, and then when I woke up, Call of Duty HQ had a 90 gigabyte update. Goddamn 90 gigabytes. It took my internet like 5 hours to download. So a second download that still took longer than it took me to complete the game, which clocks in at a week 3 hours, which, come on Call of Duty, a good COD campaign I think sits in that like 8 to 14 hour range of mindless stupid fun with awesome action set pieces. So the story is short, but is it any good? And unfortunately, the answer is no. I don't know if it's due to it being in short length, but I also feel that it maybe wasn't written the best. If this was a DLC for Modern Warfare 2 to set up the story for Modern Warfare 3, I actually think it would have been an incredible DLC. But for a main title story, it just kind of sucks. You spend almost all of your time running around parts of Warzone maps, chasing around Makarov, and you never end up catching him, and that is why I think this would have been a great DLC to set up Makarov as this incredible villain for MW3. As in this game, Makarov seems unstoppable and barely has any weaknesses to exploit. Getting into major spoilers here, but for the last mission in the game, Makarov has placed a bomb in the London Underground, and Pierce and Soap have located the bomb and start to try to defuse it whilst Ghost and Gav are on their way there. Basically, seconds out. So instead of waiting for Ghost and Gav or anyone to watch their backs, Soap and Pierce start to defuse the bomb when Makarov just walks up, shoots Soap in the back of the head, killing him, and then just leaves and the game ends. At the end of the game, it says that Makarov is injured and Soap deceased, but that you don't even injure Makarov unless you hurt his feelings at some point that I didn't realize. It's like a beloved character dies and nothing comes from it. At least in MW2 OG, Ghost's death was like mid-game, and you can spend the rest of the game trying to revenge him. And at the end of the game, Task Force 141, get that man. They do not hear. It's like the game has left me wanting more, but it hasn't built up the trust to have me stick around for the more that I want. And like, nothing really meaningful apart from Soap's death happens throughout the story. But actually, now that I think about it, that's not technically true, as at the end of the game there's a Senate hearing between Shepard and Graves, I believe his name is, where Graves said that Shepard told him to kill 141, which was a super cool scene, but nothing is as cool as the Senate scene from Mafia 3 that was just peak gameplay, apart from the fact that the rest of that game was basically awful, apart from the radio that had some bangers as well. But it's just set in a time where all the music that was released was bangers. That's enough about Mafia 3. There is a post-credit scene where Pierce breaks into Shepard's office and kills him. So I mean, at least something happens, but like, why? So at the end of the day, this game was a waste of time and not worth the time I had to sit there waiting for it to install. Oh, and if you're wondering about like the controls or the graphics, I mean, it looks like every other Call of Duty game for the past 5 years, and controls about like every other Call of Duty game for the past 5 years. Now that obviously most of this video has been me just absolutely dunking on this game, there are two good things in this game that I enjoyed. One of those being Ghost saying he wears a mask to hide his face, which I just thought was funny and gave me a chuckle.
Get behind.
Why? Or else you'll cut it off?
Not my style. He might.
Why the mask?
To hide my face.
And there is this one game when you are walking around London in civilian clothes, and there is a dog called Riley, which is clearly a reference to the dog from Call of Duty Ghosts called Riley, which is a reference to Ghost from Modern Warfare 2 as his real name in the game being Simon Riley. So a reference to a reference within a reference about a reference. That's pretty cool and not confusing at all. Is it worth $100 and like 250 gigabytes of hard drive space? No, but hey, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. It might make me feel better after playing this mess of a game, but unfortunately I doubt it.
Shadow to Gold Eagle. Candle is lit.
Go get him, Shadow.